There are really only two forces in the world. There's a consuming force and there's a creating force. And we find ourselves in either one of those states. Consumption, so in the West we like to accumulate things, which accumulation is consumption. We like to take things that are external to us and extract the value and make them ours in some way, shape, or form. And then the more profound force, I believe, is the creative force, because the creative force forces us to get out of our own way, which I know of no harder thing on the earth plane than getting out of my own way. And the times where I do find myself getting out of my own way, I'm creating. I'm in a creative state. I'm in a state of presence. I'm in a state of listening. It's a state of fulfillment. It's a state of peace. It's a state of joy. It's a state of happiness. Everything that I desire when I'm consuming gets revealed when I'm in creation. And part of the creative process for me, I don't know who has gotten to this stage of meditating. To me, meditation is one of the deepest ways that I create. When I'm absolutely still, not a thought going through my mind, and I'm just so present to the experience. And there's a science, there's a practice called Atma Vacharya. It's called self-inquiry, inquiring into the nature of I, into the nature of soul, into the essence of self. That is one of the deepest forms of creation that brings me probably the most fulfillment and joy and peace than anything else. It's not to say when I'm in action, when I'm creating videos like these, when I'm approaching a cute girl I want to say hi to and have a spontaneous interaction with strangers. There's plenty of ways that I create. Coaching clients as well. One of the deepest fulfillments is seeing other people unlock their creative potential within themselves and start to access a little deeper reservoir of life force, deeper reservoir of their being. So creation is really an act of being. It's an act of getting out of the way and removing our own ideas around what we should be doing. It's really a deep surrender and a deep listening into like what fills us up. I believe a child is listening in that state, is really playing in that state, lives in that state. The realm of imagination, it's like, what's next? It's an endless, infinite realm that a child lives in. And yes, I believe that technology is stifling a kid's creative life force. It's stifling their imagination because it's overstimulating them. It's adding too much. Creation is about emptying ourselves out. Because ultimately, I believe that when we're on our deathbed, we want to feel fulfilled. We want to feel like we gave everything we possibly had to life. That we faced our fears. That we overcame anxieties, inadequacies. We faced off with the limiting beliefs. And we freed ourselves from the mental and emotional prisons that this society, this world has programmed, conditioned into us. I believe the game of life is to free ourselves, is to die before we die. Because when we're giving, when we're in a state of flow, when we're in a state of presence, the I that we take ourselves to be isn't there. And all problems, all struggles that we experience as humans exist within the constructs of who we think we are. as Nisargadatta Maharaj says, he says, we misinterpret, we misidentify ourselves to be something that we're not. And when we do that, we suffer. So misidentification is the root of all suffering. And the way out of that, the direct path is self-inquiry. And co-creating with life, not co-consuming. Although we'll find ourselves in a consumption state, and we'll learn. Life teaches us. If we eat too much, what happens? If we scroll on TikTok for too long, what happens? Life teaches us really quickly. And the challenge becomes when we've created these consumption habits that lead us into a state of misery. To free ourselves from that is an all-in effort. It happens in baby steps. We have to actively choose that. To choose happiness, to choose love in a world that chooses fear. And that decision is, you make that decision in the quiet of your own heart. And I feel like that's what meditation really brings to me. It's my way of letting God come in. Because ultimately God is the transformational power. Grace is the transformational power. And then as I take the steps to overcome my fear, as I go directly into the limitations that I perceive, something opens up. Something always opens up. And creating the habit of leaning into the resistance, that's the evolution of the soul. That the anatomy of the soul gets revealed as we choose to lean into the resistance, to lean into the fear, to choose love, to trust life. And that to me is the game of life, is spiritual freedom, is to liberate ourselves. And we can only do that by going on the journey of our unique genetic blueprint. We all have a unique genetic blueprint that we have to choose. Your path is different than my path, is different than anyone else's path. However, the frequency of freedom, it's the same within all of us. And I believe we all desire to be so radically free, so radically ourself, so radically self-expressed, so fulfilled in our spirit, that when we are on our deathbed, we will rest in peace.